time, I'm going to introduce you to our first speaker. And I don't know much of his story, but I know that he's a really awesome guy, and I really can't wait to hear his message. So, Pete, would you please come up to the stage?
Hey, my name is Pete. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Pete!
I got thrown into this, so I'm a little nervous. So I'll tell you how it was. I had my first drink when I was 10 years old at a wedding my parents brought me to. I liked the adult punch bowl with the fruit in it better than the kids one with the little sherbet floating around in it. I blacked out that first time, and that was it. I didn't have another drink until I was age of 13. At the age of 13, a lot of things happened. I found out that girls don't have cooties. And my parents told me that I was adopted. And I didn't understand what that meant, so they told me that I was adopted, that really it was Italian and I wasn't French. And I immediately felt that I was lost. I didn't belong. I didn't belong anywhere. I was just an outcast, and nobody wanted me. And I decided that I was going to do, since they weren't my real parents, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And that's exactly what I did. And I decided also that I wanted to be in the mafia, since I'm Italian, why not? I pursued that career, and at the age of 17, 2 weeks before my 18th birthday, the state of New York, I'm from New York, state of New York gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. They told me join the Marine Corps or do 2 to 7 or face 2 to 7 years for armed robbery. I went to the Marine Corps. That's a whole somewhat good thing to me. That's a story in itself. What I can tell you about the Marine Corps is when I got out of the Marine Corps, I understood 3 things. I understood what loss meant. I understood what anger was, and I understood what hatred was. I moved to Arizona. My cousin lived in Arizona. I moved there. She was her boyfriend was a motorcycle enthusiastic person. He hung out with a lot of other motorcycle enthusiasts, and I lived with them. I had a hard time finding a job, so they gave me a job. I was the substance abuse delivery service guy. I did that for quite a while, and I got back right into the old things I used to do when I was a kid. And I got some clarity once, and decided that wasn't for me. I joined a chef's apprenticeship program, became a chef, and started working for a lot of different chefs. And of course, drinking was right in there. I drank every single day. I don't think there's a day that I didn't drink, and I mixed it up with all kinds of other stuff too, just to make it exciting. I met my wife. She was a Puerto Rican Italian from the Bronx. She was super crazy, and that's why I liked her. And I asked her to marry me. At least I think I asked her to marry me. She told me I did. I asked her when I was in a blackout, so I don't really remember. She was a single mom and had a 6-year-old daughter that I grew to love very much. And I had I told myself I wasn't going to do drugs anymore. I wasn't going to drink anymore, and I was going to be a responsible adult. And that went well for a while until I opened my own restaurant, and my ego got going, and I started drinking a lot heavier. And my wife told me I need to sober up, and so I went to a rehab, and I got sober, and everything was going good until 2002 happened, and we went to war, and I was all freaked out, and the old stuff that came back into my life stuff that happened to me before started. I was getting nervous, wanted to protect my family, and I started collecting things. My back bedroom, spare bedroom, turned into an armory, and my wife told me one day, I came home with 3 gas masks, and I told them after dinner we're going to practice donning and clearing those masks for and doing gas mask drills. And she said that I need to get help because Al-Qaeda was going to be the least of my worries if I didn't get help. I got sober. I went to another rehab. I got sober, and everything went awesome. I stayed sober for multiples of years, and I opened a couple really good restaurants. Once again, my ego started coming back again, and that was it. And I got I relapsed, and I got arrested for my 5th DUI. While I was in jail, my daughter died of a drug overdose while I was in jail, and then a lot of other things happened. And 6 months ago, I couldn't take it anymore. And I was just, I just couldn't take it anymore. And I got a letter in the mail saying that my friend got killed in Afghanistan. I told God that I'm tired of playing his games, and I took a .357 with 5 rounds in it, stuck in my mouth, and told him that if he was real, and if he was real, and there was a purpose for me in this life, then I gave him one chance to prove it to me. And I pulled that trigger, and nothing happened. And I came to Florida to live with my parents. I have a sponsor today who's totally awesome. I belong to the Fourth Dimension group that has some serious energy. I came to Florida, and I met 3 guys, Don, Gordon, and Jay. They drug me around here and showed me what things were about. And I'm telling you right now that I've been in hell, my own hell, and a lot of other hell, and I love AA, and I love you guys. And they made me a greeter here, and I hate talking to people. I hate people. And I go and shake girls' hands, and they go, "Oh no, we just hug," And I do that now, but before I was scared because I love women, but I'm terrified of them because they bring back memories. I've ruined many relationships in a marriage, a 15-year marriage, and I love AA, and I just love you guys, and that's all I got, man.
All right.
All right, at this time, mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Thank you, Pete, very much for sharing your experience, strength, and hope. And if that is not a sign of hope, I don't know what is. Stick around. It really, truly does work if you work it. I would like to ask Greg to come up and read the traditions at this time, please.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm an alcoholic. The 12 traditions. 1, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. 2, for our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern. 3, the only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. 4, each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. 6, an AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8, Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10, Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues. Hence, the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, and at this time, Damien is going to come up and do those lovely little round things we call chips.
Hi, I'm Damien. I'm an alcoholic. We have a chip system to note lengths of sobriety here at the Fourth Dimension. First chip we have is a silver chip for 24 hours. Anybody want to try this way of life? White chip fan. That's what I want to know. Mike? All right, Mike, congratulations. We have a red chip for 30 days. Here we go. Ray? Yep. Everybody does. Ray. We have a gold chip for 2 months, 60 days. Desiree, congratulations. And you are Kevin. Kevin, congratulations, buddy. Kelly, Desiree, and Kevin. All right, we have a green chip for 90 days. There's a blue chip for 6 months. That's Pete and Nikki, 6 months. All right, we have a purple chip for 9 months. All right, and then we have a red poker chip for 1 year. Flip it over for multiples. All right, thanks.
All right, this is the time where we introduce our first speaker. I would just like to say one thing before he comes on up here. For those of you that are either still active or inactive members, today is Veterans Day, and I would like to thank you for your service for our country. And at this time, our main speaker, his name is Terrence, and I have yet to meet him, but I'm very anxious to hear his story. So would you please come up and join us?
That's the wire. Once upon a time, I would have fell over that thing and everything. Good evening, everybody. I'm Terrence, and I'm an alcoholic. This group has a lot of energy, and that's good. I mean, I felt it when I came in. Actually, I didn't know what I was seeing when I was at the light, but I seen them standing. I didn't never been here before. So we're at the light, getting ready to make my left over here, and I seen, you know, you can spot AA people when they hover. I said, there they are over there, honey. We know our kind. You know, they had the coffee and the smoke is going up in the air. If it's 5 or 6 more in a group by a church, AA meeting. You know it's an AA meeting, and that's good. This group has a lot of energy, and you talk about your name of it, it's the fourth dimension. This whole group, the atmosphere is in the fourth dimension. I mean, I can feel it when I came in, and that's great. So that reassures me that the spirit of Alcoholics Anonymous is in this place, in each and every one of us. Okay, I'm going to get some statistics out the way. Well, first I'm going to thank Chris for asking me to come up here. I was a little concerned, you know, later in the week or whatever, and I know, you know, he asked me a while ago to speak, and I didn't get the directions then because you tell me something too far ahead of time. I got too much going on, too much, you know. I know where from it. So it was Thursday, then it was Friday, and I'm like, well, there's something else to be going on. So I was really dressed, Chris, to go elsewhere, but I knew he called, and I knew I was supposed to come, and I was glad to come. So anyway, we made it. Anyway, like I said, I'm Terrence, and I'm an alcoholic. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. My sobriety date is July the 14th of 2006. Now, this date, other date that I'm going to give you will let you know a little something about me. Let's remember my sobriety date is July 14th, 2006. I was introduced to Alcoholics Anonymous, never will forget it, on February 3rd, 1987. I'm not 20-something years sober, I'm here to tell you. So I can delude somebody who don't know no better. I can tell, I've been around this program since February 3rd, 1987. And that's about all I was around this program, and you'll hear it. It was a mess. Okay, I do have a sponsor. He has a sponsor. And how much time we got so I know how much of this story to tell you? Oh. Okay, I don't see a clock, but that's okay. Anyway, okay, good. Good, about 5 till, thank you very much. And I have to do that to determine how much of this story I'm going to tell you. I never know what I'm going to say when I get up here, and that's why I pray, because, see, I could tell you a whole lot of things, but you've taught me through this program, through prayer and meditation, to allow God to speak through me. Now, the story will be mine. And I hear people say that you're a power of example and this and that, and that's all well and fine. But I like to believe that I'm an example of the power. You know why? Because I'm powerless and my life is unmanageable. I don't have any power within me, then or now, other than what comes from the God of my understanding, the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, and the help of you people. I could never do this on my own, and God knows I tried, and I'll tell you how much I tried. I grew up in a household where I seen what alcohol would do to you because my father drank as long as I can remember. Drinking was always in the household. It was a part of growing up or whatever, so I seen what alcohol would do to you. And the earliest memory of that is we have family members that live, I was originally from Cleveland, Ohio. We have family members that would come over and visit, and they don't see each other a whole lot, So like on a Friday or a Saturday, whatever, they come over, my mom would be cooking or whatever, and they hadn't seen each other in a long time, and they'd be glad to see each other when they come over. And I was glad they would come too, because that means I can get me some extra candy money and, I do my little dance or whatever, and I can, play and stay up late and all that kind of stuff. So it was good for me. But what I observed in them, they were glad to see each other. When they came around, oh, so glad to see you, and then the drinks come out or whatever. After a while, the tones would escalate, the 4-letter words was coming out, the glasses was slinging, and I would hear, don't you ever come to this GD house again. But they were so glad to see each other. They transformed. And in my earliest memory, I would go get the beers or whatever sometime and sip the little suds and stuff like that, and I didn't think nothing of it. And so time rocked on with that, and what I will say this now. I told you I seen my father drank alcohol until he died. It killed him, okay? And when the trouble was going on in the household, and with the verbal arguments with my mom and him, my thought process was like this. I won't drink like that. Never crossed. What about not drinking at all? Never crossed my mind. You know why it never crossed my mind? Because, see, the boys was hanging down the street. And I needed to fit in. And I didn't know all this stuff. Now, all of this stuff is hindsight. I was so full of fear and anxiety and just something was missing. I just wasn't connected to nothing. And I had to feel needed, wanted, and loved. And my first resentment, I didn't know what was resentment at that time. And now in my household, when the street lights come on, you got to be on the porch or be in the house. Now, some of them, they're still down the street, and it's still light outside, and they playing and whatever, or doing what they do, and I've made a conscious decision. When I'm able to go down the street and hang out, I'm going down, because I'm mad. I got to be in the house, which was a good thing, but I didn't think so. So I made a decision, and when I was able to go down, whatever they were doing down there, I was going to have to do in order to fit in, because I got to be connected to something. I got to have you want me or need me or be around to feel a part of or to feel secure within myself. So whatever they were doing down there, that's what I did. I'm here to tell you in a nutshell, I went down there to hang out at about 15 or 16 years old, and I hung out till I was 32 years old. That's a lot of hanging out. I hung out too long. I mean, they going on. I mean, I went to school and all that kind of stuff or whatever, but ambition as far as doing something in life, I didn't have none. Because I had discovered my answer. All those warnings I had about, and what I seen and heard about alcohol, that didn't happen when I first drank. When I took a drink, I was all right with the world. This is magic. I could talk to the girl. I can dance better. I don't care what you think about me now. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what I think about you. Yeah, that's that courage, that liquid courage, man. And that stuff was an answer for me. And you talking about the warnings that I seen, well, I'm not going to drink like that. That ain't going to happen to me. I'm connected to something. The first time I got drunk, I was about 15 or 14 or 15, somewhere around in there. I went to visit my sister in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I learned that it's the beer capital of the world, right? I look back now, I'm drinking with a guy, and I ain't never been drunk, but I'm drinking with a guy who's far advanced. And what we drank was a fifth of Wild Irish Rose and a quart of Slits Malt Liquor Bull. And they had to carry me to my sister's house. I mean, and I showed out, too. I showed out, and parts of it was blackout, but I remember showing out, and I just remember pleading and begging her, don't call and tell my mama. Don't call and tell my mama. Laid down, and I got sick, got hungover, and all of the whole 9 yards, threw up and all that kind of stuff. Listen to this alcoholic thought the morning after. Whew, I got sick. I won't drink like that no more. Never crossed, not drinking at all, never crossed my mind. You done lost your mind. I done connected to something. This thing is an answer for me. I can feel all right. I can really do and fit into this thing called life and society. Anyway, time rocked on. Through all that, I come back home or whatever. And now, here's insane. I couldn't wait to go tell my friends I've been drunk. That's insane, right? I've been drunk. Well, that ain't nothing to be proud of. I've been drunk. So I went through high school and all that kind of stuff or whatever, and barely made it out of there. In senior high school, the teacher came up to me because I'm cutting class. If attendance was based on leaving home, I had perfect attendance because I left home every day. I wasn't staying at home because it was something to do at school. If there was no sporting event in high school or no activity that I wasn't drunk or high at. No, I can't remember any. None of them. Driving in blackouts, drinking 151 at 16 and 17 years old, and I had a car at that time in the senior year and don't know how I got home. So I didn't have the blackouts. Now back then, they got DUIs now, and they don't play with that thing now. But they stopped me one time, and I remember this periodically or whatever. They stopped me one time. I had the music loud. I'm drinking 151, and I got a buddy of mine and my two cousins in the back, and I'm zooming down the street. It's something like US 19, but I'm just zooming. You drive to the music. If the music is faster, you go faster, and you get a groove on. And I didn't know these police was following me for miles. They was mad. When they caught up with me, they yanked me out the car. I don't know if guns was drawn or anything like that. But all I remember, and I'm telling you about the slap on the wrist, all they did was open up the unopened beer and poured it out in the back seat, took me to a holding cell, and my brother came and got me, and I paid a little fine. It was probably under $200, and that was it. So there were no consequences with that. There probably had to have been any more consequences than that. It was going to be worth it for what I was getting. It was going to be still a low price for what I was getting. Anyway, the teacher told me, she said, if you don't straighten up, it was about 2 or 3 months before graduation. She said, you're not going to graduate with your class. If you don't start coming to class, you'll straighten up. So at that time, I was able to stop something for a little bit and went on and graduated. Still no ambition to do anything in life. My brother graduated from Kent State University, I believe, with a computer science degree, and I had somewhat of that class in high school. Now, he meant well, and he tried to encourage me or whatever, but you know what I heard him say? He telling me to leave them friends alone or whatever and go to school and go to college and this and that. You know what I heard him say? He don't want me to have no fun. He was trying to tell me the right thing to do. He got a house in Stone Mountain, Georgia, and works in Washington, D.C. I ended up sleeping outside in St. Petersburg. So who was right? But my thinking is twisted. I'm suffering from alcoholism and I don't even know what's going on. Okay, so other substances coming into play now because I just have to stay out of me. Other stuff came into play where it allowed me to drink a little bit more, and I had a route. I'm just doing anything. The guy had a pile. I know this is Alcoholics Anonymous, but I'm just telling you about my thinking. Guy had a pile of pills, and all I would ask him is, what does this one do to you? What does this one do to you? I want something to be done to me. That's insane. That's what does this one do to you? I'm going to tell you about this last little drinking episode, and we're going to get on into progress this thing. July. It was July. It's just hot in Cleveland just as well as burning up down here in July. So July, I don't know, it must have been cool a couple of days prior to, and my mom had made some chili. So I got up that morning, I ran down the street with the buddies, and they put a bet on that I couldn't drink, or who could drink the most of a fifth of Mad Dog down. So I don't know if I won or not, but I drank the stuff on. No, I ate the chili first. I ate first. That's what happened. I ate the chili first, because, I got up, ate the chili first, and I go down the street and hang with the boys, and that big book says that I'm about like Jim. He felt reassured that he was drinking. He had some sandwich and milk. Yeah, I was reassured because I had some chili. Anyway, it was hot, and I drank that Mad Dog down, and y'all know what happened. Now, I don't believe I've drank any Mad Dog from that day to this one, but that didn't stop me from drinking. Okay, other substances is coming into play. Talking about life being unmanageable, I have no ambition to do anything. I'm still living at my mama's house. If I'm working a job, I'm barely giving her anything. Life is just a big party and being irresponsible. I got time. This is all in the back of my mind. I got time. Let me tell you something about time. If you're 32 years old and you're still living at your mama's house, you run out of time. The average responsible person can't wait to get out at 18 and 21 years old. I couldn't wait to stay there, huh? And I got a problem with step one. Life ain't unmanageable. You kidding me? Anyway, I don't know where it come from. That February of 87, things were just, getting bad and stuff like that. And I don't know where it come from. I told my mom and my girlfriend at that time that I needed some help. So I went to this place called Rosary Hall. Some of you, if you've been here a little while, you know that Sister Ignatius, one of our helpers, used to work there, whatever. Obviously, she wasn't there then. So I went to Rosary Hall, and it was real peaceful in there. Now, I'm in there because I believe you're going to show me how to manage my drinking and stop using this other substance. That's why I'm in there. It's peaceful in there. I stayed there 2 weeks. AA people would come in there to share. They're carrying a message. I know what they're doing now. I didn't know what they were doing. Didn't care what they were doing then. So they're coming in there carrying a message. After about 3 days, because everybody's talking about a whole lot of stuff, what I'm getting ready to talk about alcoholism, steps, and sponsor, and surrender, and all. They're talking about all that stuff. I go to that counselor lady in February of 87 in all sincerity. After about 3 or 4 days there, I said, when are y'all going to show me how to stop using this other substance? Because I don't have a problem with alcohol. She said, listen, you don't understand. She said, if you don't leave everything alone, do what these people tell you to do, your life is not going to get any better. And in essence, she was saying, you're going to be drunk again. That was in 1987. I didn't tell her this, but this is what I thought. She don't know what she's talking about. I told you in the beginning what my sobriety date was and what I was introduced. But something happened in there, and I didn't know exactly what had happened until I left. I seen the truth, had heard the truth, knew people didn't drink no more. I admitted something. Whether I accepted it or not is neither here or there. I stayed there 2 weeks, and it was peaceful. I remember they read a lot of peaceful readings and stuff like that. My father passed away the month after I left out of there, so Mom and I and the family coming together and stuff like that. And now they told me drive places and drive people and meetings and this and that. Now, I'm not cutting no friends or whatever loose. I'm going there giving them blow by blow what I learned in treatment. I'm sitting around them. I'm dry. They doing their thing. And I'm telling them, they told me to stay in dry places with dry people. They looked at me. They said, well, we ain't dry. I said, oh, okay. That lasted about 4 months. And I was drunk again. Well, actually, I didn't consciously want to stop or whatever. I just kind of realized, I said, hey, I ain't drinking 4 months. Let's see what it's like. It warns us about that in there. You can leave it alone for a little while. And after a time, it gets worse when we go back, huh? Now, the part that gets worse, now the things out there get worse. You get the DUIs and all this and that type of stuff. But you know what really got worse? Or what I didn't know had happened? When I drank again after them 4 months, the first place and people that came in my mind was Rosary Hall and those people. I said, oh, man. Now I remember what they said when I'm drunk again, because they told me I was going to be drunk again. That lady told me, if you don't follow what these people tell you to do, you're going to be drunk again, and she didn't lie. But I tried to make her out of a liar. So time rocked on, and it got bad real quick again. And all I can remember is how peaceful it was in there. So I went back a few months later to Rosary Hall. A little more willing, I don't know. I just was glad to be there and stuff, you know. So I remembered some of the people that was in there, and I'm going to show you enough strong resentment. Now, it was one guy in particular that came, you come there religiously or whatever, and we were going down to the meeting room, and I was telling some of the other people, say, man, I know him. I heard him when I was here before. So I ran up behind him, thought he's going to be glad to see me. I tapped him on the shoulder. I said, hey, remember me? I heard you when you was here before, or when I was here before. He turned around slow. He said, you ain't heard nothing I said, because if you heard me, you wouldn't be back here again. Oh, that's how it is, huh? They were telling me the truth. They didn't play. Them people wasn't playing. I read some of the history and stuff like that in the original manuscript. They said if you're not convinced of these 3 pertinent ideas, reread it or throw it away. It ain't going to do you no good. And that's in paraphrasing what he was telling me. You ain't heard nothing. It ain't for everybody. Anyway, I was mad at him. I don't want to hear nothing he got to say now. I'm not going to carry you through all them treatments and detoxes. I will tell you that it was several. In 1991, I bought into your fellowship. I said, okay, I'll get me a meeting. I'll get me a home group. I'll get me a sponsor and name. I'll listen to what the heck they're doing. I'll set up the chairs. I'll make the coffee. I'll shake the hands. I'll be a greeter. I'll be all this, that type of stuff. I set up the chairs. I got me a home group. Made the coffee, and I was proud of that. I was there every Monday night. I was learned the slogans and stuff like that. Became a parakeet. You know, nothing is in my life. Yeah, I was a parakeet. All right, one day at a time. Easy does it. But for the grace of God, I'm working the program. So I learned all the slogans and all that type of stuff, and I'm here to tell you I suffer from the illness of alcoholism, and that lasted me 2 years, 1 week, and 1 day, and I was drunk again. So your fellowship don't work. That's my thought. So I kept hearing about this big book stuff and this sponsor and these steps and that type of stuff, and I had an off-the-wall program because that's how I worked them, right off the wall. And I didn't know, just ignorant. I didn't know how simple it was, but what made this thing complicated for me is my dishonesty, unwillingness, and closed-minded. That's what makes it difficult. Anyway, I bought into your program because things had got worse again. Oh, here's what they told me in detox. A lot of things hadn't happened yet. They told me that they were homeless. I hadn't been homeless yet. They ate out of garbage cans. That hadn't happened. Lost jobs and this and that type of stuff. And they were telling me all type of stuff, so I'm comparing. But they quickly smashed that because I was thinking, well, I can't be one of them because that hadn't happened yet. They say, you may be sitting there. I'm in detox. They say, you may be sitting there thinking that these things won't happen to you. They say, how can you honestly say that these things won't happen to you if you already sitting somewhere you don't want to be and never plan to be sitting here? I said, oh. Because that wasn't my life goal. The teacher asked every last one of us almost in here, what you want to be when you grow up, Terrence? You thought career in detox. I didn't tell her that. I didn't tell her I wanted to be an alcoholic or go to treatment or sleep outside. I didn't tell her that, but that's what happened. Anyway, I bought into your program in, I don't know, it was 94 or whatever, and things got better. Got around a good group of guys or whatever, and they were really doing the deal. There's warnings in here. Said we're not cured of alcoholism, what we have is daily reprieve, you know the rest of it. I hung on to some unidentified issues or whatever you want to call it. Something was welling up in me, and I stopped sharing it and stopped being honest, whatever you want to call it. 4 years and 11 months, I'm drunk again. I think that was like May of 1999. Now, I believe I had really wholeheartedly done this thing, and those guys were telling me some more truth, that you stop being honest and this and that type of thing. So now I'm resentful at Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'm on the streets of Cleveland in gross darkness because AA don't work, and I'm mad. There was a guy who, and this is what brought me to this area, is a guy came and offered me a discipleship ministry to go to or whatever, and I went. To make a long story short, I went there, and it was long term. So now I'm going to go to church. I don't have nothing against Church, I know this is not a religious, this is just my story. So I'm not going to go to AA, and I learned a lot of good stuff, and a lot of good things happened. But I'm resentful of Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, we're going to probably say the Our Father, and in one statement in there it says, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. So how honestly can a power greater than myself live in my life and work through me if I've got some of his children or whatever blocked off? And that's what was happening. So 16 months later, after going to learning all that good stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that stuff, I'm drunk again. So now I'm having it out with this God of understanding, saying, now your AA program don't work, your church don't work. If you can't find me something, then check me out of here. To make a long story short, that's what brought me to this area. It's a place up in Jacksonville. And anyway, I was there. I was sober at that time about 9 months, so we had like a 10-day period, a break period. I was currently married at that time. So I called, I want to go visit my mom and them. I think they're going to be glad to see me. I called, I said, Mom, I want to come up and visit. I got about 10 days off. They said, no, you stay down there. So I'm resentful at Mom, and I'll show Mom, so I'll start drinking again. Now I'm drinking in the town. I'm 1,200 miles away from my nearest family member. I'm drinking up in Jacksonville. They shipped me down to Fort Myers. I do well there for a little while. I've got alcoholism running wild. I do well there for a little while. I'm drunk again. They don't know what to do with me, so they sent me up here. And this is the area that I landed in when I came here, and I guess it was '04 or something like that, right up on East Lake Road North. That's where I was. That's what brought me to this area. That's unbelievable that I landed in this area, and then years later, if I follow your guys' direction, God will have it fit that I can come back up here and tell you what he did in my life through the process of the steps. Anyway, I made it to this area, whatever, and I'm still not quite ready. And my son came down to visit, whatever. Anyway, I left there. And I'm drunk I took a bike and went down to St. Petersburg. It's just a mess. I'm homeless. I don't have any family members. I don't have no job. I don't have no anything. I go to this place called the Turning Point. Anybody know about the Turning Point down in St. Pete? Turning Point is a place where the only requirement to go in there is you be drunk, and you can just get a mat, right? Let me tell you something about powerless and life unmanageable. If you're red flagged from the turning point, which means you can't get in, then you have a problem. I couldn't even get in the turning point anymore because I had been there so many times, okay? July 14th, 2006, I was just tired. Did nothing detrimental happen. I was just tired on the inside. I couldn't go no further. It wasn't nothing crazy that had happened. I just couldn't go no further. I had surrendered. And then I didn't know what I was going to do. It wasn't about I wanted to come back to AA or anything. I went to get some help, and the guy called to get me some help, and the first place he called was the Turning Point. As he was on the phone talking to the Turning Point, I was trying to tell him that I can't get in there. When he got off the phone, I said, I don't think I can get in the Turning Point. He said, shut up, you don't know what you can do. I was in the Turning Point a couple hours later, and I know I didn't get me in there. From there, I went to the Salvation Army. And I was so glad to get there, I didn't know what to do. Now, they have a 30-day restriction where you can't go nowhere or whatever for 30 days. I didn't care because you know what? I didn't want to go nowhere, and I didn't have nowhere to go anyway. So it was fine with me. One word from the other book that I stood on, it says, be still and know that I am God. And what that meant is Terrence don't need to make no decisions or plans about his life whatsoever. Allow them to unfold. And I've never allowed anything to unfold. God never worked quick enough for me. I always come in, run in, get a little information, asking for help. Thank you, see you later. Always, you say that God's going to be my manager. I always fire the manager. And he let me go. Anyway, I got back with that sponsor who tried to help me before, and he said that most people that he sponsored, he said he's seen they kind of fall by the wayside when it comes to steps 8 and 9, when it's time to, pay people back. I was only willing to say that I'm sorry and pay people back when I come in with a lot of guilt and say, I'm so sorry. Oh, because there's a lot of guilt and shame on me. I'm not really sorry. I just want it up off of me. Because if I was that sorry every time I got things better, or whatever, the bill collector's coming and people I know, and then my pockets get deep. I don't want to see them. In essence, that called for more drinking. About like they talk about the farmer who came out the cyclone cellar, ripping up everything, and all he can say, Ain't it grand the wind stopped blowing? All I can say is, I'm sober. What good is that? I was sober before the last time I drank, so how much good is that? If sober was all I was looking for, I've been sober plenty of times. Obviously, that wasn't enough. I need something, what you told me, called sobriety. That means a change in my thinking, a change in my actions. And guess what? I can't change my thinking. If I can change my thinking, I wouldn't be coming to Newport Richie to tell you anything about me. I'll just be at home with the remote control changing my thinking. And if meeting was the answer, we got a big backyard. I set up chairs and serve coffee to the neighborhood. That's not the answer. I have an illness called alcoholism, and I need you people. But first of all, I need to get into this step process with somebody that can show me. Don't tell me. I had so much information it almost killed me. Information without application is dangerous, and I can tell you, ask me how I know. Because I know. Because this was the thinking about that too. If I know this, I'll just use it when I need it. Who thought of that? I did. Where the problem is, the problem up here. So when that insane thought, because an obsession means it blocks out everything else. So whatever I got up here going to be blocked out. An obsession going to say it's all right to drink. It always said it's all right to drink. And I bought the lie. It won't be that bad this time. It wasn't that bad this time. It was worse. It was worse. And this is sober. I wasn't drunk before I got drunk. I wasn't high before I got high. So what made me drink? This. So what needs to change? This. Can I change it? No. I've already tried. Anyway, he said, you need to make amends. You're going to go through the step process. And I was willing. We did the third step prayer. Like I told you, I was done. What could he? I didn't have anything to lose. Nothing to lose. He said, we need to get you up to Cleveland so you can start patching up relationships with your family and stuff like that. Now I'm thinking he about crazy. I'm in the Salvation Army. If I'm homeless, all but homeless. If I leave there ain't nothing else. I don't have a job. I don't have any money. I don't have anything. All he said is where God guides, God provides. He said, write a letter to the program director and letting him know that I need to take you up to Cleveland, Ohio area for a workshop and to do some step work to make amends to your family. I'm still like, this man and lost his. I wrote it. You know them people let me go up there? Then I got scared. But I was grateful, and I was seeing how this thing was unfolding. And the only reason I know that it's 1,263 miles from St. Petersburg to my mama's door is because I set that speedometer thing at 0, and I really didn't sleep for 19 and a half hours. I mean, I closed my eyes, but all type of prayer and anxiety was going on. But I was willing. I got a chance to see my mom. And he told me, he said, don't go up there talking about you sorry and making no promises. You tell them that you were wrong and you're available for their life. That's it. You don't make no promises. They know you sorry. I was divorced at that time, and I had left my ex-wife when we were still married when I left her. I left on a binge, and I fought that obsession. She was at work, and I fought that obsession. I left that day, never will forget it. I left that house April 1st, 2002, never to return, on a binge from alcohol and other stuff. Now, she had right never to want to speak to me or say nothing to me again. So the macho man that I am, I asked my mom to call her. So his mom called her, and as soon as she answered the phone, she handed me the phone. He said, Terrence want to speak to you. When you want to come over, I got something to say to you. Well, the first miracle is she agreed to even be in my presence again. That was a miracle, huh? I had left her with all that rent and everything like that, and I called the landlord, and he was surprised to hear from me, because that's what y'all told me to do. The thing said you'll set up the best deal you can. He was surprised to hear from me. He said, I didn't think I was going to hear from you again. Do you know what? When I came back to Florida, that man called me and accepted the deal that you told me to present to him, and he did. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not one to want to pay back nobody nothing, but this was gratifying, because this was amazing to me. I done left this. I was glad to get those money orders and pay them. So now that's when your promises come in. Promises don't come in because I memorize them and we say them in unison. I thought I had the promises in my life because I memorized them. I know them with my eyes closed. But they weren't in my life. Talking about a new freedom and a new happiness, economic insecurity will leave us. I didn't care. I wanted to do that. Huh? Then, see, what had happened, he had garnished her checks, or whatever. So I couldn't send him the money. That didn't stop me from sending her the money. Huh? I sent her the money. Just that type of thing, or whatever. And my mom, or whatever, they were, they're just glad that I'm sober and stuff, or whatever. I'll tell you this. What was it, last year? Yeah, last year, my son came down to visit. And that's a miracle within itself. You didn't hear me. I couldn't rub 50 cents together 5 years ago, and I could send for my son. Thank you, Alcoholics Anonymous, to show him that he can have a dad again. Anyway, he came down, and we were talking. He came down 4th of July, not this past, last year, and he was talking. He said, my mom's on a fixed income. She retired from the Cleveland School Board. So he was saying, Grandma, TV is going out, and she's, thinking about getting her one of those flat screen, TVs or whatever. Then it dawned on me. Terrence, remember early in your illness when you took your mama's TV and seen her cry for the first time? Remember that? I said, oh. I took a trip up to Cleveland, Ohio last Christmas with my girlfriend with a 32-inch flat screen TV for my mom as a surprise, just a monetary token of amends. Thank you, Alcoholics Anonymous. Brought more life to her. Wasn't even about the TV. You told me that I can go there and should go there without having my hand held out because I'm selfish and self-centered. She done raised you twice over. When you gonna start giving something back? Huh? When she died, you need to wake her up so she can live another 10 years. You can keep making amends. Thank you, Alcoholics Anonymous. Huh? And she was a joy around there. She 80 years old, and she got a part-time job, and she running around. My girlfriend was amazed. Mom running around there with all kind of life. But this time she had tears of joy in her heart. Huh? And I can see it. Just because I followed a few simple directions, huh? Wow. That's what this thing has done. Now, currently, well, I'm not working right now. I have a job, but I'm not working. That used to freak, that once upon a time, that would have freaked me out. They had to downsize the job for a few weeks because of production is down. That's not a big deal. We're still employed. And I see people on the job, and I can identify, they thought it was personal. When the man said, he didn't say, Terrence, we're laying you off. He didn't say that. He said, we're downsizing. But thank God I have a purpose in life. You've given me a purpose, something else to do. This is a full-time job right here, huh? With great rewards, huh? The more we put in the bank, the more we get the spiritual bank, huh? The spiritual bank. That's what you guys have taught me in Alcoholics Anonymous. That brother that I told you about that graduated, successful as far as society goes, and you don't have a problem, with that or whatever. About 2 years ago, he ran into some, little financial difficulties for whatever reason, I don't know. But anyway, you allowed me to be able to send him a money order. Well, he the one graduated from college. I come from the bushes of Southside St. Pete. That's where I came from. All these things are monetary, but behind the monetary, there has to be a change in thinking and feeling. I'm not the one that want to give nobody nothing, but that's what you taught me. You showed me the only way you're going to get something is to give something, huh? And what do I have the most of? Time. And because I'm not working, I got a little more time than anything else. And I take that time out to do more things for alcoholics. I can never repay this back. The more you try to do, the more blessed we are. The more blessed we are. I do sponsor guys or whatever, and that's a joy. I'm going to close with this because, see, that book tells me, and that book didn't have to tell me, my actions and thoughts told me, before I even read that I'm without defense against the first string. And so the new thing is how can I help a newcomer? So the newcomer keeps me reminded. I can't remind me. I forget all the time. The new guy make identifications with him because I'm like him. I'm no different. And then trying to help him, guess who gets the help? But I need to be unselfish to get something for self. And that requires another human being. I try to help as many people as I can, whom God puts in my path. I about run out. I'm just here to tell you that Alcoholics Anonymous has made a world of difference in my life. If you're new, suggest the same thing that they suggested to me. Get yourself a sponsor, and this is a beautiful home group. I'm coming back up here to visit. Anyway, we make a road trip. I like this group. It's a lot of energy. You're talking about a fourth dimension. It is really a fourth dimension. If you're new, get yourself a sponsor, one that can show you how to live this way of life, because it is a way of life. I thought it was a program. This is more than this ain't no program. I've been in programs. This is not a program. This is a way of life. This is the easiest hour of the day. It's easy to get up here and talk about me. I could talk, yeah. What about the other 23 hours? How am I behaving at home? How am I behaving on the job? Huh? Got a lot of work. I know how to be Mr. A. I told you I was a parakeet. I stopped parakeeting though, but I know how to do that in here. And this is well needed. The fellowship supports the program, the 12 steps. The 12 steps don't support the fellowship. Thank you.